Alright guys, check it out. Brother Maynard here with another game for you. This is a 4,000 point game. I brought my Demons out to play against my buddy Dave's High Elves. So here's the board here. And then starting on my left as usual, I got up front, I got 5 Fleshhounds. Behind them 6 Blood Crushers with full command. And then I have a small unit of 20 Bloodletters, and they have a musician and a standard bearer. And then in front of them I have 6 flamers who've been joined by my herald, who's a lore master of shadow, and then there's a fiend in that wood as well, and that's abyssal wood or something like that. And the blood crushers have the icon of endless war. And then you can see next to the fiend there, I got 24 demonettes with a herald, and she's got the siren song. And then I got a horde of bloodletters with a herald, and then a big unit of 24 plague bearers, it looks like, 28 maybe. So a bunch of plague bearers with full command. They got a herald too. He doesn't have any gifts though. And then I got another single fiend, a unit of 6 flamers, and then my general, who's a great unclean one. He's got a bale sword with noxious vapors, and he's got 4 magic levels. Okay, so the high elves, right? Starting on their left, so my right, he's got his general over here. He's a prince, I guess, on a star dragon, I think is the nasty one. Yeah, so he's on a big mean dragon, and he's got an eagle over here. And then here in the middle, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of units at all. He's got he's got 4 hordes. So the 2 in the front are spearmen. I think they each have a level 2 mage. One is shadow and one is high. And then behind them on the left, he's got a big unit of 40 archers, and then on the right is a big unit of 40 white lions, and they have Caradryan and his battle standard bearer. And then the little bunker on the right is, I think it's 25 Phoenix Guard or something like that, 25-30, and he's got his level 4 who's rocking the Lore of Life, and he's got the Book of Hoeth in there. And then all the way over on the left by his lonesome is he's got an eagle. And then here's how the board looks at the beginning of the game. Okay, so my opponent, for his movement, he just kind of moves everybody forward except the archers. He takes the eagle like so to kind of you can see I have the blood crushers and the fleshhounds ready to go around. They're going to move around the building to threaten his flank here, so he just kind of moves the eagle up here so that he can use them to block later on in the game. But other than that, everybody just moves up like so. He's being real conservative with the dragon, keeping him stand up, because he knows chances are pretty good that I got a bale sword on the great unclean one, so he's being real careful with his dragon. So in his magic phase, he tries to cast dwellers on the demonette unit. He doesn't get it through though, even with the book. He doesn't get the big casting value. Damn, that unit looks good, huh? And then so in shooting, his big ass archer unit only manages to kill 1 demonette. So I don't know how many they should have killed, but I'll take it. Okay, so my movement, yeah, I take the hounds and the crushers. I'm gonna move them around the building to kind of threaten his flank, like I said. I move the flamer unit and the demonettes up to that hedge, and we're just calling that a fence or something like that. I think it's just a fence. So I move him up to that. The fiend. I move him. I put him there so that if he charges the fiend, he'll have to overrun into the flamers, and if you overrun into something, you have to charge it, and he's not going to be able to complete a charge against the flamers, so he'll fail it. Is essentially what I'm doing there. I don't know how legal or how hairy that is, but that's what I'm trying to do. And then of course I just move the bloodletters up. So over here, I'm keeping my bloodletter horde back because I don't want to just throw them out there just yet. But I'm being pretty aggressive with the plague bearers, just moving them up as fast as I can go. Because I know if his spearmen charge him in the flank, I'll get in with the bloodletters and take the spearman, take him out right there. So I'm not too worried if he decides to do that. But other than that, just move the flamers and my general up, and the fiend, sneaking him around. You can see he's got most of the backfield in his charge arc, so that's a good position for him. And I think in magic now, so his magic defense is pretty gnarly. He's got he takes away one of my dice and it gives him one, so it essentially changes the balance by 2. And then he's got +5 to dispel from his level 4, so I can't do anything. So we go straight to shooting, and so the flamers here take a couple wounds off the spearman block. And these flamers also shoot at the Phoenix Guard, and they kill a couple more. Now usually flamers are just stupid effective against high elves because they got a bunch of units of small units of elite troops running around. But all his units are huge, and so the flamers really are. Their effectiveness is pretty much at 0, you know, because they can't do enough to really accomplish anything. So, yeah. Okay, so in his movement phase, he goes ahead and he takes the eagle and he drops it right here, and I'm not really sure. I know he's redirecting something, but I don't really understand what exactly he was doing here. But then you can see that the spearman unit on the right is now fleeing, and what happened there is for his charges, I popped my siren song on my demonettes, and siren song the second spearman unit in, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring them in to block the unit on the left, and then flank them with the bloodletters and just clear off one whole unit of spearmen, real quick, because the bloodletter horde would have just destroyed him. But what he ended up doing was electing to flee, which caught me off guard. It caught me by surprise. I didn't think he'd do that, but I was ready for it, as you'll see later. But anyway, so that's why his spearmen are running, and then he just moves the White Lion Horde. Just moves them up. Over here, he just moves the Phoenix Guard up like so. He puts the eagle in front of him so that I can't charge him with the Plague Bearers. I don't have enough room to wheel around their eagle, so I got to charge the eagle and then overrun to the Phoenix Guard, and basically that lets him will fight the combat in his turn, so he'll have a chance to get some buffs up. And then you can see my Fiend, who's got a pretty good view of his backfield there. And then here's again, he's just keeping the dragon off to the flank like that. Okay, so here's a horrible picture of, in his magic phase, he ends up getting Dwellers through on the Demonettes and wipes out half the unit, which kind of sucks. And then shooting the Archer Horde on the hill takes a couple wounds off the Bloodletters. Okay, so here's how everything's looking as we go to my turn. Now, actually, you'll see that the kind of farmstead house has been replaced by like an ogre hut at this point. And basically, what happened is the store owner came up and was really excited about his new ogre huts, and he insisted that we use one. So he replaced that house with it. But now you can see my flesh hounds can't wheel around the ogre hut. So yeah, so we just kind of said thank you and we appreciate it. And as soon as he left, we put the house back. But okay, so here you can see I moved the flesh hounds and the blood crushers around the building, so I can either take them into the spearman's flank, or I can hit the archers with them. So and then I just take the flamers into the building. I end up pulling the herald out of the building and moving him behind. Because if he assaults the building, I'll have to pick 10 models, so my herald will be in combat, so he'll be able to kill my herald. So I just move him behind the building to keep him safe, and then I just move the other bloodletter unit up to the the hedge there, which we're just, like I said, we're just calling that a fence. Which actually, it looks like my placement is kind of bad here. I really should have them a little further right, because as it turns out, they don't have enough room to wheel around the building if I need to complete a charge with them. So I really should have them a little bit further right, just in case I want to charge. And then, of course, I take my my Bloodletter Horde into his White Lions, and yeah, normally in a competitive game I would never do that because White Lions will just wreck Bloodletter Hordes. But you know, I figured it was, you know, it's a fun game. You know, I want big combats, so I go ahead and do it. And basically, you know, I'd rather charge and have my magic phase so I could possibly get something through, rather than let him charge and then him have his magic phase to do whatever the hell he wants, because he's got that stupid book. But anyway, yeah. So I'm banking on my Herald really being able to get some kind of assistance through, because if I can get a miasma through, or you know, even just a miasma, my Bloodletters would be able to wreck them. But without any help, they're going to eat that unit alive. And then, okay, so up here, my other charge is I take the Fiend into his Spearman block that he fled with. He doesn't roll high enough to get off the board, but as you can see, my Fiend was able to complete the charge against the unit, and you know, when you complete a charge against a fleeing unit, you get a free reform. So it actually turned out better than if he had fled off the board, because otherwise I would have just failed to charge. But anyway, and then you can see I charged the Eagle with the Plague Bearers, and I think I charged my General in there too, but he ended up failing the charge. That's alright though. And then I just move the Flamers around the flank of the Phoenix Guard, so I can shoot them at short range. And one of my Flamers is confused because he's faced the wrong way. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, so here's an awesome picture of my General just kind of commanding his troops from the tree line. So yeah, he just looks awesome. Let's see, over here, I think the magic, yeah, completely wasn't able to do anything. He's got +5 to dispel. He can stop everything I got. And then he's got that stupid little, that item that takes 1 out of my pool and puts it in his. So yeah, I'm not able to get anything through magic wise, so now my Bloodletters are going to get eaten. So in shooting, I just have the Flamers take a couple more wounds off the Spear Elves. Same thing over here. This unit of Flamers kills a couple of Phoenix Guard, but yeah, like I said, they're really not that effective in this game because his units are just so big. Usually they kick ass against High Elves, but he's got so many guys that it's not really making a difference. Okay, so then we go to combat. Like I said, I wasn't able to get any kind of assistance through into the White Lion combat, so they're just going to wreck the Bloodletters. So at the end of combat, you see the Plague Bears overran. They killed the Eagle, overran in the Phoenix Guard, and the White Lions just completely wrecked the Bloodletters. That I'm down to 15 plus the Herald, and I managed to. I think I took off his back rank, but yeah, absolutely. What an ass whooping. You know, but I knew it was going to happen. If I didn't get any magic through, that's how it was going to go down. So anyway, this is us going into his next turn, and then he ends up taking his dragon into the flank of the Plague Bear unit, which I'm fine with that because they'll stick around for the next turn. I'll be able to take my general into the flank of his general and kill him. Yeah, so I'm really not too upset about it. But in combat, man, that dragon is mean as hell. That thing ends up just laying the smack down on my Plague Bears, and now I'm down to 6 plus the Herald. So yeah, kind of a bad instability roll, but still, that thing is mean. but they stuck around. The plague bear stuck around, so that's what counts. So now I'll be able to take my general into the dragon in my turn. Yeah, and then over here, white lions finish off the bloodletters. So really, yeah, that sucks, but it's exactly what I expected. What are you gonna do? So he reforms them like so, and then earlier in his movement phase, he reformed his spearmen like that, so that he wasn't just giving a flank to the blood crushers. So here we go into my next turn. Oh, and you can see in his shooting phase in the previous turn, he killed a couple flesh hounds. So here we're going into my next turn, and yeah, things are just looking grim for me. My bloodletter horde that was holding the center is gone. My right flank is hanging by a thread with just, the flamers, the plague bearer unit, and my general. And so, yeah, things aren't looking good for me. So I decided to just attack. I take the blood crushers, the hounds, and the demonettes all into his spearmen. And then the fiend that was up top that ran down the other spearman block, I take him into the rear. The extra combat res is nice, but really what I need is I need to kill enough to break his steadfast. So that's what I'm shooting for. I have to just blitz this unit and get it off the table real quick, because I won't be able to handle both of these units working together. I got to take them out. I got to take one of them out right now. So that's what I do there, and then like I said over here, I take my general into his dragon here. And so what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping to just direct everything at the dragon, and then with the Bale Sword I'll kill it easily. Thunderstomp the crap out of the rider, and then hopefully kill him depending on what kind of gear he's got. And then with that out of the picture, it changes the dynamic over here completely. So we'll see how that goes. And then the rest of my movement, I just reform the bloodletters like so. Just in case I can't break that spearman unit, he's going to counterattack with the white lions, erase the demonettes probably, and then I'll be able to counterattack with the bloodletters, and maybe take the fiend into his flank. So that's what I'm doing here. Combat-wise over here, my general wasn't able to kill the stupid dragon. I only hit with one attack, rolled up 5 wounds, so he only did 5 wounds to the dragon, but I did end up breaking him. And then, if you guys know the answer to this, please let me know, because my general broke the dragon and was thus not in combat really anymore. So I wanted to pursue the dragon, but my opponent insisted that my general was now in combat with the Phoenix Guard, since they were part of the same combat. So I went ahead and just went with his interpretation, and moved my general up. So if that was right, let me know, and actually if it was wrong, let me know, whatever. But anyway, that's how we played it. So now my general's in the Phoenix Guard, for better or worse. Okay, so over here, yeah, I was able to completely erase that Spear Elf unit. Yeah, so I broke him, and then I pursued with the hounds and the fiend, because I really needed to catch him, which I did. And then I just reformed the demonettes behind the hedge, and reformed the blood crushers to counterattack the white lions. And that's nice, because he doesn't have enough room to wheel past the demonettes to charge either the blood crushers or the bloodletters. He's got to go into the demonettes, and that's fine with me, because we're calling that the hedge a fence. In case I didn't say that earlier, so he's going to be at -1 to hit. He's going to lose his rerolls, and so I'm really hoping that'll take a lot of the bite out of that unit. That'll enable my demonettes to stick around, because they're going to be stubborn for their first break test, and then I'll be able to counterattack. And it's a really tall order, and it's going to take a bit of luck, but I might be able to just to win the combat and break that unit. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, slow grind against stubborn, demons, against stubborn white lions. So that's my plan. And I think here I'm showing in my shooting phase, my flamers toasted the eagle that was flying around back here who came to pick on my wizard. And if you're wondering why he didn't charge his eagle into my wizard earlier, I might have forgot to say it, but I actually moved my wizard into the building with the flamers. Once I took out the threat of his spearman charge in the building. So, okay, so that takes us to his turn. So I think in his turn he's able to rally his general. And then he charges the White Lions into the Demonettes. Because, like I said, he didn't have any other real charge. He didn't have enough room to make a wheel to charge anybody else, so he had to go into the Demonettes. And then magic, you can see that his Phoenix Guard unit is just surrounded by magic cards because they're like toughness 16, and they got regen, and the reason why he's putting regen on the Phoenix Guard is because he's also, by doing that, he's also given his level 4 a 4-up save, so I can't put attacks on him and kill him. So yeah, so I can't. Yeah, he just does whatever he wants in his magic phase. And then in combat, he ends up he only killed a couple demonettes. They killed a couple lions back and ended up being stubborn, like I said. So I'm going to be able to counterattack him next turn, and it's really not a good chance that I'll be able to break him and run him down. But that's really what I'm going for. Let's see here. Yeah, so here's just how things are looking going into my turn. So yeah, like I said, it's a friendly game, so I'm just doing everything as aggressively as I want to, really. So I go ahead and take the blood crushers and the blood letters into his white line unit. Actually, you'll notice in this picture that I forgot to mention that his archer unit actually ends up killing 2 blood crushers. So some pretty good rolling on his part, man. Ouch, that hurt. But yeah, like I said, I took both units into the White Lions, really hoping to win the combat and miraculously break them, because otherwise I'm just gonna have to grind them out. I don't know if I can do that. And then over here I end up taking the hounds into the rear of the Phoenix Guard. I put the Fiend into his left flank to try to kill his level 4 who's on the corner there. I take the other unit of flamers and put them in the flank, and yeah, I'm trying to I'm just doing the same thing over here. I'm just trying to break this unit. And then if you're wondering why I haven't combat reformed my general to get into base space with his level 4, it's because I can't pass the stupid test. So okay, so over here my flamers end up, I once again cannot do anything in magic. I can't get a single spell through. So in shooting, flamers just take a couple wounds off the archers because they have nothing else to shoot at. So over here, yeah, he ends up challenging my general with his champion, and he's got flesh to stone and regeneration, so I can't hurt him. He doesn't roll too well, doesn't do anything to me, and this is just I think he wins, and I still can't reform to get my general into combat with his level 4. But actually, at this point, I'm not even sure if it would make a difference, because he just keeps regrowing his champion every turn, just challenging me again. So, yeah, really frustrating. That stupid book is insane. He can do everything he wants, whatever he wants. And, yeah, so, and like I said, I took the Fiend in to try to assassinate him, and it's not as easy as it sounds. I can't kill that guy. So, here's just an awesome picture, though. My general just smashing some elves. He looks like he's having the time of his life. That's such an awesome model. Gotta love it. Okay, so over here, White Lions actually ain't doing so hot. They end up losing the combat, but they're stubborn. So I mean, they kill a couple Bloodletters, a couple Demonettes. You can see I've lost a Blood Crusher, but that White Lion unit's getting awful small. So I'm hoping I can just outgrind him. Yeah, like I said over here, I can't crack that unit. I'm really trying, but I can't crack him. So in his turn, he like I said, he rallied his dragon guy and decides to take him into this fiend here. I don't know why I put the fiend there. I think in my mind I thought I was blocking something when really all I'm doing is just giving him a fiend and letting him overrun into the flamers. That was really stupid. So yeah, so of course in his turn he just charges the fiend. And then over here his archers just shoot at the flamers in the building and don't do anything. And then in magic he throws up a bunch of buffs on that unit. And I was saving all my dispel dice to stop regrowth. Because his champion, he gets his champion back in the magic phase, and I really needed to stop that, because if his champion, if he didn't get his champion back, my general would be able to challenge his dragon and kill it. But since he got his champion, he just challenges. My general has to accept, keeping his dragon safe. So, yeah. There you go. I can't kill his dragon, who just absolutely wrecks the flamers. I think I ended up losing this combat by 14. Everything I got everything I got in that combat just pops. And I think at this point, I had a prior engagement that I needed to get to. I had like less than an hour to do it. So at this point, I decided without my general, I got really no good way to kill the dragon. So I just we just called it, chalked it up as a win to Dave. So anyway, yeah, it was a really fun game. Definitely one of the most fun games I've ever had. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later.